Welcome to this lecture about climate change impacts on crop production. Climate change is influencing life on many different paths, and this slide presents the impacts of climate change on different human-related ecosystems, starting with general aspects, but then exemplifying these with concrete ones. So climate change directly influences the solar radiation, the sea level, the temperature, and also the precipitation. And these four aspects have an indirect influence on the health, for example, regarding diseases, mortality, the air quality, or labor availability. Also on the agriculture, regarding crop yields, water demands, pathogens, and many more aspects you will see in the next slides. It also influences forests, for example, regarding the tree species, their extent, also the extent of forests themselves, and the forest health. The water balance is also influenced by these aspects, for example, regarding the availability and the quality of water, but also the competition for water. These aspects, and so climate change also influences coastal areas, for example, regarding erosions and inundations, but also the costs for protection of coastal areas. And of course, also the natural habitats are influenced by these factors, and so by climate change regarding biodiversity loss or the retreat of glaciers. Agricultural production is related to and depends on all these aspects, and in the following slides you will hear more about those connections. Climate change is affecting agriculture via different pathways. This slide illustrates the wide variety of influences that climate makes certain agriculture. Here in this slide, 12 examples are shown, but please note that they are not exhaustive. So the phenology may be faster due to climate change, so the plant development might be faster in the future. Also, weather extremes might be more often and also more intense in the future. Due to climate change, there will be also loss of land due to sea level rise, but also the degradation of soil. Soil attributes themselves might be also altered due to climate change. Increased incidence of pests and diseases will be also occur in the future due to the global warming, and also new plant and animal pathogens can arise. Due to climate change, the water availability and also the timing will change in the future. The global warming also has an impact on the machine workability of the fields, and also rising temperatures put stress on animals, and so also the animal welfare is affected by the climate change. The quality of food might also be affected by climate change, so future food could be less nutritious, for example. Also, supply chains can be disturbed by climate change, and especially extreme weather events can put them at risk. Labor availability could also be affected by the global warming. For example, heat waves could make it too exhaustive to work outdoors. And also pollinators are threatened by climate change. Not only the variety of species, but also the amount and the distribution is affected by climate change. Please note that all those factors are not isolated, but they may interact and influence each other. I would also like to highlight that especially the weather extremes may be an underestimated danger for agricultural production, and this will be discussed in more detail in the following slides. Especially extreme weather events may lead to crop losses, and this slide emphasizes the detrimental effects of weather extremes for crop yields, starting with general requirements for plant growth, and then using the case of France in 2016, where severe losses of winter wheat occurred to extreme weather anomalies in winter and spring. So croplands have specific requirements for their growth, for example regarding temperature, precipitation, soil moisture, solar radiation, and also nutrients. All of these need to be available at the right place, the right amount, and also the right time. When these requirements are not met, plants develop less biomass and thus eventually carry lower yields. Climate change may cause a departure from optimum climate and in particular cause more extreme weather patterns like droughts, floods, heat waves, or also spring frost. The graph on the left-hand side shows you severe yield anomaly in northern France. The cause for this decline were higher temperatures, which you can see here, lower solar radiation, and also higher precipitation in spring. Both factors increased disease pressure and lowered the availability of wheat plants to develop grains. And such compound events may become more likely under global warming. Scaling up from France to the global level, it can be observed that crop yields will likely go down under a warmer climate, particularly when no adaptation measures are implemented. The graphic here shows you expected changes in crop yields for the 4 global staple crops maize, rice, soybean and wheat. Changes are plotted against the current average temperature in the growing areas, and they use 3 different RCP scenarios. Without any adaptation, what you can see here in the upper row, losses are higher than with adaptation, shown in the bottom row. The adaptation measures that were considered are choice of cultivar, fertilization, sowing time, tillage, irrigation, humus buildup, and some more. The full details can be found in the associated reference. Climate change will not only affect crop production, but more stages of food security. This slide illustrates that climate change will alter all steps in the provision of food from farm to fork, which may ultimately affect food security, especially for the most vulnerable ones. To give you a little definition, food security means that all people at all times have physical and economical access to sufficient and nutrient food to cover the needs and preferences for an active and healthy life. The chain in the middle represents the 4 dimensions of food security: availability, access, utilization, and stability over time. The bubbles around show various impacts of climate change on the elements of these dimensions. All the slides above only refer to the production side, so the physically available food. And climate change may lead to a reduction of those yields. So to sum it up, it can be stated that climate change has diverse effects on all aspects of plant life. Regarding agricultural production, these changes are likely negative on a global level. But extreme events are especially harmful for crops and may cause large losses. And those extreme events will be more likely under climate change. Beyond the crop production, food security will also be affected by the global warming.